We're live with the wake. Greetings, warriors. I'm back, and today it's Oktoberfest here in the Tri-Darby Kingdom. And let me tell you something, right? Our town has a huge Oktoberfest every year. We got the Oompa bands, we got the brewery, right? The entire part of the town is covered with people out celebrating Oktoberfest. So, Prost! Oh my goodness. So, what'd you think of the Godsend? That was... Alright, so we pivoted the show away from talking about the movie, and that was all on me, right? Because I just thought the theme of the movie with kid killing kids was just like a little bit over the top. So the doc and I talked about it, and that's why we and October 1st is National Horror Host Day anyway. So that's why we pivoted when we did all that, you know, because the movie bothered me a lot. Right now, when you watch a horror movie, it's supposed to creep you out, but then you're supposed to, like, you know, move on. Okay, this movie creeped me out, and I had nightmares about it, okay? And just think about it, though. Like, you got a kid who's, like, killing all the other kids, and it's just kind of, like, creepy. I don't know. That's why I gave it one tombstone. The doc liked it a little bit more than me, right? And he likes that. And again, the doc, like I said, I'm more of the sci-fi kind of guy, and the doc is more of the traditional horror kind of guy. So, you know, the movie, even though the movie was done really well, I can say that, right? It just creeped me out. So that's why I gave it a 1, you know. But, so, what the hell's been going on with me, right? So, you know, the summer came and went with a blur. You guys saw the Viking camp videos we did for Cannibal Campout, right? We had a blast. The kids had a blast. We enjoyed it. We were actually doing a movie, right, that we were going to show, but some of the kids got a little bit too into a horror movie, so we had to, like, push it back a little bit. We will be putting it together and show it on the Shorties Fest, okay, which is coming up the Black Friday, you know, the day after Thanksgiving, you know, because after, you know, after you've been running around all day shopping, watching football, right? What do you want to do, right? Oh, my goodness. My mustache is super white in that one spot. It's not a booger. That's weird. Anyway, now when you look at my face, that's all you're going to think about now, right? Anyway, but, yeah, so, you know, we decided to go with the horror host genre thing, and which is something we've been talking about wanting to do for a while, right? Now, people that I didn't mention that I kind of, like, get, you know, my inspiration from with the horror host, right? You know, one, right, first of all, like, you know, Svengoolie, right? Back in the 80s, like early 80s, he was actually on one of our local stations, and I would catch him every now and then, right? But in the last 15 years, he's been on Me TV. Granted, I watch him every week, and I thoroughly enjoy watching when he has, like, the old traditional Universal monsters on. And, you know, and the Abbott and Costello ones, I enjoy that, you know. The one Ghost of Mrs. Chicken, which is coming up this weekend, I'm not a big Don Knotts kind of guy. But, so my inspiration, right, so Svengoolie a little bit, right? Dr. Shock right off the bat. He is the man, the myth, the legend. He is somebody that, you know, and guys talk about this a lot, right? That I got to, you know, watching football and baseball and watching Dr. Shock Saturday afternoons if it was miserable with my dad. Or watching it, we would tape it, you know, and like everyone else, we used that one tape and we just taped over it and over it and over it, you know, every week. So we had, you know, so we didn't have to buy a million tapes, you know. And that kind of bummed me out as I got older because I kind of wished that I could have, you know, sat back and watched some of his shows. But then I had two other people, right? And one's a Philadelphia person, right, and one's from USA Channel. Now, Commander USA used to be on the USA Channel Saturday afternoons, right? And he was friggin' hysterical. He's like a superhero, right? Who shows these movies, but he's like sort of like a cornball, like a, New York tough guy superhero. And it's just goofy. His whole antics were goofy. And he was on Saturday afternoons for years. And it just seemed like the last year that he was on, he just had like a lot of like Japanese like disaster movies and not any, good sci-fi horror flicks. And then right off, the one that I adore, somebody that I enjoyed watching, and I actually did I entered a video in our video contest one year, is Stella, the man-eater from Manayunk. She used to be on Channel 3 after Saturday Night Live. Her show was called Saturday Night Dead, okay? And it was great. She wasn't a vampire. She was just a vamp, right? And wore gothic stuff. And there was this kind of like a loose kind of, woman. And she was Karen Scioli is her name. And one year, so I used to, you guys say, what didn't you do? I used to work for the Phillies. I started as a vendor. I was a beer vendor. And then by the time I left the Phillies, I was there 8 years, 85 to 93. I left, and then they went to the World Series. Good luck charm, huh? And but she came down to do a promotion one night for the game. Now, at that point, I was a beer vendor, okay? So I had my whole Mad Darbarian outfit on, right? And I go down, and I can't find it now, because that's back when pictures were actually on paper, right? The physical pictures. But it had a picture of me with her knighting me, right? That was me in front of her, and it was a cool picture, And then I went to work. I went got my beer basket and stuff. And funny story, right? So in Philadelphia, I'm walking down the first baseline, right? It's Halloween, so everybody's dressed up, right? It's Halloween in July, you know what I mean, when they used to promotions, right? And I'm in the aisle with my crate of beers. Back in the old days, it was a metal crate of beers, right? And I put the crate down, right? And I'm wearing my Darby outfit, and I'm, my Darbarian outfit, right? And I'm passing the money back to the guy, right? And all of a sudden, right, I'm not looking up. All of a sudden, everybody stands up, and they're like, ah! And a foul ball comes down, and bam! Hits my beer basket. Beers everywhere, right? And I just stood there, and I just looked up, and I went, right? And don't you know, I look up at the big Jumbotron, and there's me standing there with my beers everywhere, dressed in my Viking horns and everything going, right? And it was hysterical, right? So I'm like, I'm apologizing to people that got hit by beer. Everybody's okay with it, right? Because they knew it wasn't my fault, right? This guy got the ball, gave me the ball. I said, no, I didn't want it, and I gave it to a little kid, right? And then, I proceeded to start to clean up all my stuff. And so many people just here, gave me a 5. Just here you go, buddy. I apologize for what happened, blah, blah, blah. Right? And it was just hysterical. So then I go home that night, right? And I'm watching the news. And don't you know, right? They just flash up there, the ball hitting the cage, all the beers popping out of the cage, and me standing there, but they didn't capture what I said. Thank God, But, yeah, so that's my Stella Halloween story. She was great. And her pinnacle, right, is the Frank Langella and Dracula that came out like would have been like the late 70s. It had to be like the early 80s, right? She actually got that, right, and then interviewed him, which was huge because that wasn't her style, right? Because usually they had really bad, Spaceship from Venus and it's not just B movies, the BCD movies she would have on, right? And it was funny. It was funny, right? So, But anyway, all right. So what do we got coming up, right? So let's flip. Oh, first of all, let's talk about football. This Friday, and let me bring it up, we have Strathaven is back. Strathaven football is back this Friday, and they are playing. Who the heck are they playing? So what is it? First of all, I got to shrink this thing. You know, I should do prep work. You know what I'm saying? And I can't see you guys if you're out there live watching me because I'm doing this from my streaming package. Okay. So this Friday, October 10th, they're battling Harrington. All right. And then after that, we have their next 3 games. Harrington, Lower Merion, and then the big game against Springfield. Right. So this Friday, we'll be broadcasting at 7 p.m., right? Them going after Harrington, okay? So, guys, tune in. If you guys got a bar, right, you're in the Strathaven School District, right, or in the Harrington School District, do yourself a favor, put the game on, right, and really, right, the guys that do the game, right, they're from Strathaven, and they're a hoot. They're funny, you know? Typical local, you know, sports broadcasting. You guys will thoroughly enjoy it. So that's what we got this Friday, right? And this Friday movie, I believe, is The Abominable Mr. Phibbs. Okay? Now, for our movies we got coming up this month, all right, we just had Dolly Dearest, right? Which was that last night? No. Yeah. No, we had... I forget what the heck we had on. Oh. Dolly Dearest, was it Creepy Dolls? I don't remember now. Anyway, but for the rest of the month, we have Gamera, the Giant Monster, The Abominable Mr. Phibbs, Girls School Screamers, and The Clown Murders, right? Now, The Clown Murders, right, you guys will enjoy it. John Candy is in it, of all people, you know? And again, I'm not, like, clowns creep me out, right? Baby dolls creep me out, right? And then, you know, kids hurting kids, that creeps me out, you know? So, but the Clown Murders one, that was really good. John Candy's first performance, you know? And then The Abominable Mr. Phibbs, Vincent Price, really trippy, weirdo, kind of freaky movie. You'll enjoy it, but like obviously somebody sat back with a pack of mushrooms and made that movie because it's really, really, really trippy, like uber trippy, right? Like uber trippy, right? And you'll see when you have the beginning scene, the animatronics, you're gonna go, oh, we're in for a kicker with this, right? And Gamera, that's going to be the last movie of the month. And I'm doing that with Henry of the YouTube page, The Planet Kaiju. Now, this kid is like 10 or 11 years old, has a successful YouTube page where he does like sort of like claymation movies with his you know, Godzilla and Gamera and Ultraman figurines and stuff. And the kid... And I met the kid a couple times. He's a real hoot. He's going to go somewhere, you know. So we're going to have that on. So he's going to be our guest host. So Doc's taking that week off, and he's going to be our guest host. All right. Then we have November. All right. What do we got in November? November, we got... Oh, first of all, we have Grotesque 2 with our favorite Canadian, right? Elizabeth Chamberlain. Now, Grotesque 3, I think, is coming out. But what's more important is they just filmed I'm Haunted 4 and 5. And they're actually premiering on, I think, the Focus channel. We will be getting them next year for Cemetery Cinema, and I can't wait, right? And for Grotesque 2, I'm not going to show the whole video, but I'll show some clips of the interview that we did a couple months ago. Metropolis, like, classic. One of the first science fiction films ever made. Classic show. You guys will love it. I loved Metropolis, right? Again, it's a silent film. Great musical accompaniment, right? We couldn't get the Kiss version, or pardon me, the Queen version, the heavy metal version that came out in like 85, right? If we did, that would be fantastic. But we still got the original version, pardon me. Prost! All right. Then we have Home Sweet Home and Blood Rage. 2 slasher chopper movies you guys are going to love, right? Home Sweet Home is, I believe, a guy comes back to their hometown, right? And he gets revenge on everybody. And Blood Rage, I haven't seen yet. Can't wait. But what's big is Black Friday. We have our short film festival. So I was at Delco Harhaven this past weekend, right? I interviewed a bunch of people. I'll be cutting them this week, put them on the show. If you're one of the people I interviewed, right? Hey, we'll try to get everybody who I interviewed on in the next couple weeks, right? But the shows, so we have, I think, 6 videos just from Delco Harhaven. We have another like half dozen from other people, and I'm going to be putting the Hardport Crest on this week to try to get the last handful. We want to try to get like around 20. Last year we had 45 that was sent in, or 42 that were sent in. We cut it down to 21, mainly with 21 because that's how the timing was, right? We want to try to keep the shorts 15 minutes and under. But even though we have a couple half-hour ones, which we'll be throwing out there, okay? So November is going to be a banger of a month, and I can't wait. And then the boss went ape with the Christmas movies, okay? Now, Santa Claus Conquers the Martian, right? We're going to rerun what we did last year. One of our favorite shows. It was a lot of fun when the doc and I did it. I love that movie because it's just so bad. B movie. And P is Adora. Like, what can you say about her, right? Then Christmas Evil, Elves, and Don't Open Till Christmas. Now, the doc has like a phobia for elves and leprechauns, so we're going to have fun with that. And then Don't Open Till Christmas, right? Another typical Christmas slasher movie. It's going to be a boatload of fun, okay? We've gotten a handful of movies we got in the okay to show next year. One's going to be called Caddy Hack, which is about radioactive gophers that take over a golf course, right? So it's like Caddyshack made into a murder movie. And a guy named Mike Packlin is in it. He's from Collingdale, but he is from the 023, right? And we did an interview with him on Delco Delco Live. And we'll be showing bits and pieces of that interview, which was really cool. We got that permission. Other movies we have coming up, I believe we have a bunch more from Bayview, which I can't wait to see because Bayview is such a good independent place. Haunted Underground, which is another one. It's the one that Elizabeth Chamberlain is hooked up with up there up in Canada, right? You know, a girl from Grotesque and I'm Haunted and all those movies up there, right? So we got all that coming. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun December. And Doc, if you're out there watching, I'm going to be sending you a text so we can set up a time to do our November and December movies. The Shorty Fest, we might not be able to film that till like maybe a week or two before, but we'll talk, all right? Now, things we got going on. So I was supposed to go to the Mannheim Renaissance Fair today, and I kind of like overworked myself yesterday, and I can't really walk too well. Granted, I'm old, all right? And so I didn't go there, but the PA Renaissance Fair, there's a guy there who I'm supposed to interview, right? He does leatherworks, and if you see the crown that I had in one of my pictures that they actually took and they used for the horror host, not Hall of Fame, but whatever the thing is. That's the guy I was going to go visit, and I didn't get a chance because, like I said, my knees just can't make it today. Had a long day yesterday. I was working with the fire police, and it was just a long day, you know. And then, like in the afternoon, I went to my son's rugby game, and I came home and pretty much collapsed. So today was not a run around today. Today's just sitting on the couch and watch football kind of day. Anyway, all right. So that's what we got coming up. Right now, I just want to say that I really appreciate everybody sticking with us, right? We really have had a blast. Doc and I think by the end of the year, we're going to be hitting our 75th show. We're definitely going to be hitting our 75th show. And we'll have over 100 shows by April next year, which is unbelievable, going into 2 years doing this. And, it's been a lot of fun. And if you guys notice what we've been doing, the Doc and I have been posting our videos, right? Try to do at least one every day, whether it's from the show or one of our individual videos. And I think it sort of get more engagement with all our fans out there, both of you. Maybe we got 2 dozen. No, I don't know. But hey, I do appreciate everybody that's tuned in, right? I appreciate the emails we've been getting lately, most of the emails we've been getting lately, and a lot of the Facebook posts. And we're also been, what the heck is that? I have to pay for one of my software things, so the timer ran out, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, but that's, what, been going on. And like I said, I appreciate everybody out there that's been watching the show. Now, I say with the different bits we've been doing, this week we're going to have a ton of bits. It's going to be hysterical. So look forward to it every day. And you're going to see like the bits that I cut out and throw into the show. And then you notice when on Friday mornings, what I do is I post all of our bits, without the movie on Friday morning. That way, you know what I mean? You can watch our stuff, right? And then go, ooh, what are they showing tonight? And I'll watch it then. So, all right. Well, here we are. That's been the wake. Been a while. I apologize, right? But I will be back more diligent. The next 2 weekends I am at our Scout Spookery, right? Which I'll be live from the Spookery on Saturday morning with the wake. And then, and that's the next 2 weekends. And then the weekend after that, I forget what I got going on. But the weekend of the 25th, right? Rhonda from Up All Night is back. And if you get a chance, right, look her up her Facebook page, right? And it'll give you the address where you could find her out there. I forget the name of the website she's going to be on, but I'm going to look forward to that. It's a shame that Gilbert Godfrey died because the two of them were hysterical. Because he's just a friggin' lunatic when he talked, and she was just like, they were completely opposite, and it was one of the most enjoyable shows I've seen. All right, so it's the Mad Darbarian with the wake. I've yapped at you for half an hour, right? I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you next Friday on Cemetery Cinema, following Strathaven versus Harlan. I don't know. I don't even know where the school's at, but it's in Delco. So, see ya. How do I turn this off again? Stop streaming.